Okay guys, I am back with another video. Same shirt, different video. I promise. This isn't another book haul because that's the one I just put up. This video is a video about a girl. A girl who was super successful when it came to reading in the month of December. Because not only did I meet my goal of 5 books, I surpassed it. There was only one book on the TBR that I didn't actually read, but that's because I got new books, and you guys already know about all those new books. But I got the new books and I had to read them. They were more intriguing. I don't know. I just wanted to read them beforehand. So let's get started. I read 16 books this month. Now 2 of them were ebooks, and they were on my brand new iPhone 6 Plus. It's so pretty. But anyways, so I read 16 books this month. Are you guys ready to kind of get into this and see what books I read this month? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I was super proud of myself. Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. The first book that I read in the month of December is The Make Good Art speech by Neil Gaiman. He gave this speech in 2012 at Philadelphia's University of the Arts. It is just a book form of the speech that he gave at this commencement, and it is actually really an inspiring speech. It's well thought out, it's well written, and it kind of makes you want to do better. I mean, it's just a very empowering, very inspirational speech, and I think if you haven't read it and you make booktube videos or you make any sort of art, music, painting, sculpting, balloon art, whatever it is, I think whatever your passion is, that you need to read this book, because it kind of just, if you get in a rut where you're like, oh, I don't know if this is what I want to do anymore, I'm got writer's block, I can't write a new song, I can't do anything right now, I'm just kind of down in the dumps, read this book, because it just kind of, it's a pep talk in a short little colorful book. The second book that I read in the month of December was a graphic novel based off of the book Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This particular edition was illustrated and adapted by these 2 people that I'm not going to try to pronounce that first one's name, or either of them name their names actually. But those 2 people. This was beautiful. It's all in black and white. It's all like, it's basically their pencil drawings, and they're gorgeous. And I love the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde. Horror classic, of course. But this graphic novel was a beautiful adaptation. It was a quick read. And instant gratification when it comes to graphic novels. It's a great way to keep on task when you're trying to read lots of books in a month because you've kind of hit a rut. The third book that I read this month is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. I love The Mindy Show. I love Mindy's writing in this book. She was fantastic. It was funny. I was just hearing her voice in my head telling me this story, and it was like we were buds. So I really enjoyed it. This will be one that I definitely reread when I kind of need pick-me-up. Like when I need something to make me laugh. And so I enjoyed this book quite a lot. I would recommend this one to anybody. It's really funny. The next book that I read in the month of December was, technically, if I wanted to, I guess I could count it as 2 because it technically is 2 stories, but I'm just going to count it as 1 because I did so well with the rest of the month. I read Unite Me by Tara Maffey. This is the bind-up of Fracture Me and Destroy Me, both of Warner and Adam's stories, little novellas that go along with the Shatter Me trilogy. I really enjoyed Warner's story. Adam's story was kind of, It was okay. It was good. It was a nice kind of insight. But, God, Warner just gets me. I like Warner a lot. But, yes. So I read Unite Me by Tara Maffey. Now we need more Tara Maffey. Alright. I really got with kind of the graphic-y novels this month. Because, like I said, instant gratification. It kind of keeps you on a roll. So, if you haven't seen the cover while I'm sitting here bouncing up and down and excited and showing you guys this book, I read Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. Back in that last video, I was laughing so hard. I love this book. If you need a laugh, the the drawings, like the illustrations themselves are just so ridiculously simple, but they're like a child would do them, basically. They're child pictures. But the stories that go with them and then put together, it's just a fantastic, like, melding of illustration and story, and it made me laugh so hard the entire time I was reading it. So I would definitely recommend this book. The next book that I read in December is American Born Chinese by Jean Yang. It is also a graphic novel, and this one had, I think it was basically three different stories that kind of wove together towards the end. It was really good. It really intrigued me. The illustrations are nice. Not my favorite illustrations. I mean, I've seen better illustrations, but I was really intrigued by this book, and it's a great story. I would definitely recommend this book. The next book that I read in December was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This was actually a reread for me. I don't know how many times I've reread this story, but it's been a while since I've reread the books, so I was really excited to get to reread this. We were reading this for the book club that Tamika Evans and I have. It still has no name, but we're reading all of the Harry Potter books basically one a month, and every time I read these books, I just get giddy like a little schoolgirl. Now, while I was reading some of these books, I was trying to do the booktubeathon, the Christmas booktubeathon. That totally went out the window. I did finish most of the books that I was reading for that, but not in the time frame and not in that order. So I kind of am just doing that as a wash. Sorry. But the next book that I did read in December was part of that challenge, so I did get it finished. The next book that I read is Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I absolutely love this book. It was heartwarming. It was a little sad at points, but it was all in all a fantastic story. This is the first one that I've read by either of the authors, but I was very, very impressed by this book. I do want to read Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I've seen the movie, but I want to read the book now, especially knowing that this had some fantastic writing and stories in it and everything. So I would definitely, if you guys need a holiday read in the middle of July, or if you want one around the holidays, I would definitely recommend Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. The next book that I read in December was the graphic novel of The Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum. This particular one, it doesn't really say who illustrated it. Oh, here we go. I don't know if that, no, it doesn't say illustrated. But this was written by Frank L. Baum. It was adapted by Ben Caldwell. It is a gorgeous graphic novelization of the story of The Wizard of Oz. The next book that I read was also another graphic novel. It was Fahrenheit 451, originally by Ray Bradbury. This is the authorized adaptation by Tim Hamilton. It's a graphic novel that's based off of Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Also this month, I read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Okay, I also read Saga Volume 4. It just came out last month. I had to pick up a copy of it because I've been kind of obsessed with the Saga series, and it's by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I love this series so much. It is not a series for youngins. It really is a graphic novel, but the story that is with this graphic novel series, it's just a fantastic story, and I just cannot wait to get Volume 5 whenever it's supposed to come out. So the next book that I read this past month was Fortunately the Milk by Neil Gaiman. This is one of his children's books. It is illustrated by Scotty Young, and this book had me laughing so hard. This guy goes out to get milk for his kids' cereal because they don't have any more, and it takes him a while, and so he comes up with this big epic story of why he was late with the milk, and it is just so fantastic. The last physical book that I read this month was A Beautiful Wedding by Jamie McGuire. This is the novella of Abby and Travis and their beautiful wedding and all that goes on with that. Basically, it takes place towards the end of Beautiful and Walking Disaster, and it's it's the parts that we missed. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoy all of her writing. Okay, the last two books I read were the start of a kind of a raunchy series, But the writing is phenomenal in this series. And the story is very, very intriguing and very gripping. So that's why I've kind of kept up with it. But the series that I started is called the Hacker series by Meredith Wilde. The first book in the series is called Hardwired. A story that goes along with this. It follows Blake and Erica. And Blake is a former hacker. And Erica is a new business owner looking for a loan. I'll let your imagination wander from there. There is a lot of conflict in these books, and it's just really fantastic, and it's really a fast-paced book, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm not one that reads those kind of books that much. So this one, I tried to read the 50 Shades of Grey. I got a couple chapters into it, and it just was like, why the heck am I reading this book? This one was, oh my gosh, I just want to see what happens next. And I kept turning the page and kept turning the page, and the raunchy parts didn't even get to me. So Hardwired was the first one that I read, and then I also read Hard Pressed, which is the second book in the series. I believe there are going to be 5, only 4 of them are out yet. So the Hacker series by Meredith Wilde, I would totally recommend to anyone who kind of likes good stories and doesn't mind the more racy sections of the book. Those are all of the books that I read in December 2014. I'm pretty proud of myself because I finally, had a good month where I read quite a few books. If you've read any of these and you want to tell me what you thought about them, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If there are any books that you think I should read that, based off of these books, you think I would enjoy, put those down there too. I will leave all of my social media down in the doobly-doo. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will have another video coming up real soon because I'm just going to be on the ball with this filming thing today. So you might see this shirt again. Bye! I read 16 books this week. The next book that I finished in December was American Born Chinese by Jean Yang. I'm sorry, I want to get close to you. Sorry. I'm all hyper energetic today. Woo! Yeah! Okay.